Okay, I just figured I'd do one of these quick surface area videos for you with just one problem. So what we're going to do is calculate the surface area of the rectangular prism that is on the left side of your screen. First thing that I want to remind you of, when we find surface area, you are just finding the area base times height, or area also equals length times width of a rectangle. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a little rectangle right here. We have our base and our height, or you might also call those length and width. You are going to multiply those together, and that will give you your area. Okay, so we've been doing that for third grade, fourth grade, and now fifth grade, and we did a whole unit on finding area. The only thing that's different about surface area is that these flat rectangles or squares are on a solid. They make a solid. So we're going to find the area of a bunch of flat faces, and then we are going to add them together to calculate our total surface area. Okay. Now, what I also want to do is right up here, I'm going to pull out our, we're going to do, instead of base, I'm going to do length, width, and height. Okay, and you might be thinking, why did you choose those for those? I just chose height because that shows how tall our prism is. It really doesn't matter if you were to flip these around, though, at all, because we're going to be doing multiplication. Order does not matter. So what I'm going to do first, actually, is I am going to find the area of this front face. Okay, so I'm going to write right underneath here. Let's do our front. And to help you see this, I'm going to pull out, well, I'm not going to pull out, I'm just going to draw a rectangle. And what this rectangle is supposed to represent is this rectangle. I'm also going to outline or go over the side so that we can see what two numbers we're going to use here to find the area of that front face. See how we have 8 and 5? So we're going to multiply 8 times 5. And I'm going to put this also in our little formula way. So this is what it looks like on the rectangle. And we would do this. Area equals length times width, base times height, 8 times 5, which I know is 40. Okay, now also the tricky thing about solids, we found the area of this front face. This is 40. But what we can't see on the back side of this prism is our back side. So I'm going to write right here, front and back. And the reason why is because they are the same. They're going to have the same side measurements. They're going to have the same area. So instead, what we can do, this is just the area of the front right here, we can add another 40 to represent the area of the back, or what we have been doing that's a little bit more efficient for fifth graders is multiplying that times 2, because we have our front and our back. They are both 40 square feet. 40 times 2 is 80. Okay, we're going to hold on to that 80, and I'm going to erase everything that I drew on this rectangular prism over here. And there is no certain order that you have to do this in. I am going to now find the area of my sides. So I'm going to write side 1. That's what we're going to find first. And then we know that side 2 is going to be the same. So that's where that times 2 comes in, side 2. So I'm going to draw it's a little bit more of a square than a rectangle this time, just because of the measurements. And I want you to look here. I'm going to use yellow. I'm going to outline this square. What two side lengths make up that square? I can see 4 is right on there, but are we going to use 8? Nope, we're going to use 5, because if this side of this rectangle is 5, you also know this side. So we're going to be multiplying 4 times 5. 4 times 5 gives us 20. I'm also going to write it this way. Area equals 4 times 5 equals 20 square feet. And then over here, even though we can't see it, here's our side 2. So side 1, area of 20. Side 2 is also an area of 20. So I could either do repeated addition, 20 plus 20, or because I know there are two sides that are the same, I'm going to do times 2. 40. Okay, I'm going to erase everything else on here. I want you to think. So far, we've found 5 faces of our rectangular prism. Front and back, side and side. What's left? Top and bottom. And we can't see our bottom, but we can see the top, and we know the bottom is the same. So right underneath here, I'm going to write top and bottom. Okay, I'm going to use my yellow again. Actually, yeah, I'll use yellow. What two side links? You can see on this rectangle on the top, there are actually no side links labeled. But I can use what I learned about rectangles in 2nd, 3rd grade. If I know this bottom part of this rectangle is 8, what does the top part of the rectangle have to be? You've got it. It has to be 8. Let's see. Let's look over here. If this bottom part of this rectangle is 4, what does this top part have to be? 4. So you are going to be multiplying 8 times 4. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle right here. And 8 times 4. I'm also going to write it using my area formula. Area equals 8 times 4 equals 32. And then even though we can't see it, we know in the bottom of the shape, which is resting on a table or resting on something, that we have a equal face. So the bottom, which is the same as the top. So we're going to do 32 times 2 to represent those two sides. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, oh my gosh, I know that's a ton of work. Now I'm going to use this really bright color that's what we, to kind of pull out the numbers we need to find our total surface area. So this is us finding those faces kind of broken to pieces, front and back, side and side, top and bottom. Okay, now for us to find our total surface area, we're going to add these up that I circled in that bright color. I know that you're 5th graders and that you can add and regroup. Please be careful about doing this because it would be a real shame to do all that work and then not get the right answer because you added wrong or regrouped wrong. Okay, here I'm going to group these two into a 10, and 8 is 18. 184 feet square. Okay, now the other thing I want you to notice, see these right here. I'm going to highlight these. See our length, our width, and our height. So right here, we multiplied our length times our height. Right here, we multiplied our width times our height. And right down here, we multiplied our length times our width. So really, if we were going to create a formula for surface area, we could do this. Length times width plus length times height plus height times width. You're going to do all of that, and then whatever that answer is, you're going to multiply times 2. That's what we just did to find our total surface area.